Welcome to the YCNU podcast. Join us each week for engaging conversations with campus leaders, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community members. From academics to athletics, campus life, and beyond, we cover it all. Have someone you want to hear from? Let us know. Let's explore the world of Yavapai College together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the YCNU podcast. I'm Cadu Medina, your host for today's episode, and I'm here with these cool cats, Susanna and Jackson, from the Student Government Association at Yavapai College. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us what is your role in the Student Government Association?
I am Susanna, and I am the student body president. That's me.
I'm Jackson. I am the student body vice president, and I work with Susanna.
All right. We're here with the two big hats in the Student Government Association. Tell us a little about it. What is the Student Government Association? What do you guys do? What's your role in the whole Yavapai College community?
Well, we don't wear big hats. That's one thing. Preferably small to medium, actually well-fitted hats.
Perfect.
But our goal is to represent the student body. So we are the voice. We take issues, we interpret them, we discuss them. If we find them to be important for all students on every campus, we bring them to leadership, move them higher up on the ladder. We essentially are the representation for the student body.
Okay, wonderful. Can you give me a little background on how this association came to be, and if you remember how long ago that started, and what was its purpose and mission when it started?
That's a good question. It was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
It was started by a group of students. I think it was brought forward by our president, Dr. Ryan. She had the idea to have a student governance committee in order to, I think where she had worked before, there had been something along those lines, and she kind of wanted to see that incorporated in our school. So a group of students took that on, and they created policies, they created the bylaws, and they did a lot of work that year.
Right. Wow, that's wonderful. And did we have anything similar before this became officially the student government?
So YC faculty has always tried to represent the students. The students' interests are always their top priority. So there's always been work similar to student government. There's always been people listening. There's always been people, trying to find the root issues that students are experiencing. But the reason why student government was so important was because faculty is faculty, and students live lives on their own entirely. A teacher can design the course, but they might not know what it's like to take the specific course. So with the student government, that just basically puts ears where teachers can't have them. Student government, they can hear issues in and outside the classroom, in and outside the college, while faculty may not have that privilege. So there have always been the services that will represent and benefit the students. Student government just puts those services where they might not have been accessible before.
That sounds amazing. Tell me a little bit about you two. How did you become, involved with the organization, and where were you before? I'm assuming you guys are both students, probably graduate at this point or still going. Just give us a little bit of a background there on yourselves, and how do you take this role with student government?
So I am a first-time college student. I took a long break between high school and college. I started in 2022. After my first semester, I decided to run for student body president. And last year I sat as student body president as well. It took me a little bit to get some traction going. But this year I ran again for office, and I sit as president this year. And this group this year is just incredible. We really are. I'm really proud of us.
Nice. Thank you. How about you, Jackson?
So my story isn't nearly as hard fought as my partners. So I heard about student government because I had some friends there, Brianna, some of the ambassadors. But what got me in was I knew Zane Shepard, who was the standing vice president at the time. And I was like, hey, student government sounds cool. Could I join? And he's like, no, elections are over. Started on. So I'm like, dang. And then 2 weeks later, he calls me and he goes, hey, so the treasurer, something happened with the treasurer. They had to leave. Position's open. Do you want to interview? And I interviewed. I got it. So that was kind of my in. I just wriggled my way through, which I'm very happy about. But no, I just saw what they were doing. I knew that they did amazing things. I benefited directly from their work. The free gym I've used multiple times. Mm-hmm. The 988 suicide crisis hotline, I've seen it everywhere. I know students that benefited from it. And just learning more about it, I just got absolutely engaged and absolutely enthralled in the process. And like Susanna said, we do have the best team. No offense to previous student government teams.
All right, let's get into the work part of this. Tell us about a project or initiative that you guys are currently working on that excites you the most. I know you're probably involved in a million different things, but what is that one thing that now, it's really kind of getting you pumped?
So the biggest thing we're working on now is something that is going to have to be improved for all of eternity. That is communication. So we know certain issues that students are experiencing, but we don't know all of them. So right now, our biggest focus is just making sure that we have ears in every corner and that students know that they can come to us with their issues. So currently, we are just trying to lend our ears to as many students as possible and ensure that they know that the communication is there. So if they have an issue or a problem, they might feel alone, lost, maybe they don't think that there is support for them, we will ensure that they know what support there is.
That's awesome. So what does that look like in a more, physical way? Like you have an office? Do you guys have channels that you're utilizing to communicate to the students because they need to know that you're available? And then once they do know you're available, how do they reach out to you? So what does the implementation of this strategy kind of look like? How do you make yourself known and available to all the students?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we have a jot form, which is a physical piece of paper all around every campus in which students can scan a QR code, be sent to a jot form thing where they can submit any type of complaint, issue, difficulty that they may have, and they will receive a response within 24 hours. But on top of this, we also have a Senate, YC Senate, which are student representatives on every single campus who students can go directly to with their issues and who are also there. So we have people on every YC campus to listen to the students, and their names are on the website. We'll make public, and I believe we've already made public announcements, so students should be familiar with who their representative respective to their campus is. And currently, we are trying to reinvent ways utilizing online technologies with the new Learning Center, with new technologies coming forth with education. We are trying to explore every possible avenue on top of the wonderful infrastructure that we've already laid in place.
Right. What would you say is the most efficient channel that you have right now to communicate with students? Is it email? Is it text message? Do you guys have a group and some social media channel? What is that most efficient channel that you feel like you can count on and students respond and engage with you?
Yeah, so we do have an email that is open to anybody to use at any time. That's YCSGA at. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
We can cut that out.
You don't even know yourself. That's why.
Yeah. YCSGA at yc.edu.
Perfect.
So, that is a very effective way that we communicate with anybody that we need to get a hold of. We communicate with each other. Anybody can communicate with us. We also do have our own social media platforms. YCSGA, if you just type that into Instagram, Facebook, we are active on those. We are also active on the college's Instagram and Facebook account as well, featuring with different clubs and organizations, having are like collaborating with them and having their voices be heard if they come to us for partnership. We are in the talks of creating our own personal YCSGA podcast and collaborating with more things like this. Other than that, I mean, we're just in the classrooms.
Yeah,
we're around.
That's how we communicate nowadays, anyways, right? Like if you want to get access to people, you want to get into their phones, which is in their pockets, as quickly as possible. It sounds like these channels are, how you mostly do that. I've also seen a lot of signage around the campus. You guys do a really good job kind of promoting, just creating channels to talk and promoting things, and just letting people know that you guys can be accessible through certain channels. There's like QR codes everywhere. That's been a way for you guys also to promote your activities and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, our website as well. If you just on the YC website, if you just type in SGA, there's our email. There's ways to get a hold of us. There is that jot form.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we try to be as accessible as possible. Other than that, we're usually hanging out. There is a room in Building 3 that is like the student government where we have our meetings. There on that website too, you can access our meetings via Zoom. So it's open to all students as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Tell me a story about a success story, something that you guys have worked on with one student or a group of students that you feel like, okay, this is what represents the work that we do. Just give us like an example of what you might have done for a student or a whole entire class or a program that you feel like, okay, this is at the core of our mission. This is what we do.
So I have 2 success stories, actually.
Beautiful.
So one wonderful thing that I've discovered about being student government is I have the confidence to talk about my experiences as a student and the value of being a student. More so than before, because now I know what resources are there. I know how hard the administration works to make sure everybody's needs are met. 2 success stories. So one of them was this individual. So I go to Average Joe's MMA. It's one of my hobbies. I train there. And, generally with combat sports, you get some troubled individuals, people who might not be at their best point in life. They want to get some anger out. One of them was a 15-year-old boy who had just gotten out of juvie for, very, very difficult path in life. And I was with him before he got sentenced, and I tried to be there for him. But he came back and was going through very difficult times. He wasn't very happy with his living situation, and he wanted to get out. His plan was just to get his GED, move out, and just work somewhere. Like, he didn't know where, but he just wanted to jump out without thinking. So I sat him down, I gave him a ride home, and I said, listen, the best path for you, and I will preach this to anybody I know, is college, is education. And he goes, well, I can't afford it. It's too much money and, all this. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to college for free. I've taken advantage of FAFSA, federal aid, and I have gone to school for free. Not only that, I've gotten money back, but also I have, instead of hanging with the people I was hanging with before that might not have been the best influences, because of college, I'm able to say that I'm friends with doctors, I'm friends with future lawyers, I'm friends with future businessmen. And I say, you will meet good people, and Yavapai College is the best place for you. But I just talked to him about that the whole car ride home, and by the end of it, he was convinced. He said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to get my GED.
Wow.
I want to go to college. And then this other one was this individual who also wasn't having the best situation at home. He was very upset. He wanted to run away. But he didn't know what he was going to do. I think he was about to graduate high school, but he was waiting to get a ride, and I was just sitting on the curb with him, and I just ran him through all the things at the college because he said he wanted to go welding. So I strongly advocated for the C-Tech welding program. And I said, listen, you want a good job. This will get you that job, because you can go out and you can just start welding, but you're not going to have the proper equipment to build your skills. You're not going to be able to build your clientele base. You're not going to be in the system. If you go here again with federal aid for free, if not getting money back, you can not only build your network, meet future welders, meet future businessmen, meet your professors that are already well into the industry and can get you jobs, can get you recommendations, but you will have skill that exceeds 80% of your competition. And I'm telling you, once you tell people what is there for them, once you give people insight as to genuinely what college can do for them, and not only that, but tell them what resources are there for them to do it affordably and conveniently, it changes lives. Like, it changes people. I see it in their eyes that their whole world just starts turning.
Right.
So I've seen it. It's a beautiful thing. Yavapai College does wonderful things.
Those are awesome stories, dude. Thank you.
Of course.
And what happened to that kid, the 15-year-old guy? Is he enrolled? Is he still going through his education here?
The 15-year-old kid, that was like last week.
Ah, that was last week.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So,
that's fresh.
But you know what? I don't want to get... His name is Aiden. I guess I'll just throw the name in there. But he's got a really good head on his shoulders,
Perfect.
man. I'm with him, and I see him at the gym now. I check up on him, but you know, because he knows that he had a bad run. But what I'm really happy about is that he didn't fall into the mental trap of glorifying, you know, the negativity or falling into that trap where negativity becomes your worldview. And I'm really proud of him. You know,
Awesome.
he's got a good head on his shoulders. So.
Well, you sound like a big brother, man. Stick with him. You know, I think he needs you big time, and it's really awesome that you're doing this for him. So make sure you stick with him. I'd like to know, maybe we can record a follow-up conversation at some point here so you can give me some updates on how his, you know, trajectory is unfolding and well,
now he's got to go to Yavapai College.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to kick his butt in here now.
Especially since you threw his name on the hat here. So
I'm putting the pressure on.
There's a little pressure. How about you, Susanna? Give me a story of, you know, success, something you worked on with a student here that kind of, again, represents, you know, the mission of this organization, this group.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to follow up that. Jackson really sounds like he's on the
He might have made it up,
lines.
so don't worry about it.
But yeah, I mean, I do agree that just everyday interactions with students, being able to inform them about our resources, whether it be tutoring or mental health services or, you know, our food pantry, any resources that are available to students if they are struggling with things, just being able to point them in the right direction or give them actual physical directions to places. It's just very, very rewarding. Also, I would just like to include just something like that our whole organization has done and that we continue to do is I think kind of at the heart of student government is working together. And even if you aren't able to see the fruits of your labor, just being able to like continue on with somebody else and getting something started, right. You know, and having, you know, that faith that it will happen. And just like for us, 2 years ago, the Unheard 22 was an initiative that was taken on by student government. And so last year we were able to collaborate with them and help volunteer with them to raise money for their boots to be put on, like steel boots to be put on the campuses.
Right.
And so, just taking our time and, you know, putting our efforts into that. It's also something that I would, you know, like I would love to discuss and like to continue for us to be there. It's a very important initiative.
Right.
The Unheard 22, I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just, you know, awareness for veteran suicides. It's, and it's just, it's an important thing that I hold close to my heart. And I know the previous president, Jamie, she holds close to her heart as a vet as well. So
right.
Yeah. And with Veterans Day coming up too, it's just like,
very timely. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Really quick before we move on, I also want to say 4 success stories that you can see every day would be Susanna Marcinek, Jackson James, Jericho Newcomb, Connor Bustamante. I think we as student government, especially our leader Susanna, she has overcome a lot. We all have. And I think my biggest inspiration is knowing what these people, my colleagues, my friends, my teammates have gone through and how hard they work for the students. Mm-hmm. I'd say that, you know, the fact that avenues are open for students who may have not had the most advantageous childhood or upbringing, being able to not only represent the students, but call themselves president, vice president, treasurer, official positions. I think student government is the biggest success story that you can have.
Oh, no doubt. So on that note, what is the plan for the future for this group? You know, you guys, I'm sure you spend a little bit of time thinking and forecasting, you know, where this is going. What is the path that you see here for the future for this group, you know, for the next few years? How long is your term, by the way? I know you guys at some point are going to pass on the hat to somebody else, but how long do you guys usually stay in the group?
It's a 1 year term commitment. Yeah.
Okay.
And you have a maximum of 2 years. So, as I've served my 2 years, I will be going on to university after, my work here. I mean, I can't, that's just speaking for myself, but,
All right, tell me about that future then. What are we looking at here? What's the big mission here for the SGA?
Yeah, I mean, as well, it's just carrying on what others have started and hope and the hopes of having our own legacy, which, I mean, we are still in the talks of it. But we really are trying to focus this year on kind of breaking down the stigma of asking for help, asking for resources, because the college does provide such wraparound services. Like Jackson said, I am a success story of that. I have used just about every resource that the college has offered. And I can honestly, truly say that it has just completely changed my life forever. And I am just like, this college and what they have offered for me personally, is just such a huge part of my success. And so yeah, just getting that out to students, and whether it be through communication, through podcasts, we are in the talks of creating some sort of committee to and coming up with a proposal and bringing it towards leadership to have not only students but staff and faculty involved in this, to target students and be on those front lines, whereas students, like Jackson said, are probably going to be the ones that hear about other students first and foremost. If whether they have needs, if they're struggling to pay for classes, if they're struggling to eat, I would say personally, from personal experience, it's more likely that a student is going to reach out to their peers as opposed to a staff, faculty, teacher. So yeah, just, we've talked about the idea of student mentors, or this is all things that are in the process. We definitely are still hashing out ideas, and possibly that committee that we form will help us kind of iron out all of our plans.
Right. Do you guys have a close relationship with the leadership and with the college staff, everybody else, to kind of help you guys design what the future of the SGA should look like? Because obviously this is new. You told me it's been around for 3 years, maybe. You guys have been doing this. So is there a plan? Are you collaborating with other organizations, other colleges, to see where they have taken their student government board, association, so that you can grow yours in that same direction? How do you make your plans? How do you bring, external help and influence here to know where to go with this?
So I'll break that down a little bit. So the first part of that was, are we close with leadership? Yes, we work very closely with leadership, which is very important, because without that communication, again, we are bringing students' issues to that leadership, so we have a close communication. But one thing that I think I should touch on that is very important about student government is they bring all students closer to the leadership. It's so easy, if you're just a part-time student, maybe here a couple hours a week, to feel so detached from what's going on. Things happen without you knowing, without you having a say, and that's with life. Anything that you don't feel like you have control over, you might not be the most content with. So student government, yes, we are close with leadership, but we also bring students closer to leadership and bring leadership closer to students. So that was the first part of your question. The second part, you said kind of, how are we moving forward? What are we thinking? What are we doing? Am I correct on that?
Yeah. And then do you collect, influence and information from other groups, other colleges, maybe even you guys have like a board that you sit together and decide, this is what you need to be spending time doing, and this is how you grow this area? Do you, work with other organizations to kind of grow what you're doing? Yeah.
So, as student government, we represent every campus. So inherently, you're going to have a lot of different communities, a lot of different focuses, a lot of different types of people. So I'd say it's almost a necessity for us to collaborate. But within Yavapai College, you have clubs, you have organizations, you have partners.
Right.
We try to work with whoever needs representation. So yes, we work with plenty of clubs, plenty of people that may not necessarily be direct leadership. But also, we try to only work with people who need us, right? Because we are needed everywhere. I can say that, we've already offered assistance. We've promoted some, efforts for students. So I'd say collaboration is definitely a part of student government.
Wonderful. What is that one thing maybe about the Student Government Association that you feel like most of us in the Yavapai college community don't know about? Like,
That
what is that one thing that we don't know that you guys do or represent that we should know?
That we're awesome.
That you're awesome, no doubt.
What is the one thing that we do that everyone should know? I mean, we work on ourselves every day. We work to be better for our students. We work to be better leaders, and it's not always easy. It really isn't. Growing is not an easy thing to do. They say about growing pains,
Right.
it is. Sometimes it's tough, and it's waking up on those early mornings, and it's getting together when you've got 100 other things to do, and writing something when you've got 3 assignments that are past due. So we are. I guess we're working hard to be better for not only our campus and our community, but we're working better to be like leaders and future leaders.
Yeah. And you guys do work a lot, and it's unfortunate if people don't know that. I'm glad that you brought that up. I know this is a very important organization, what you guys do for students, and you guys work really hard, especially since you have to do that on top of being a student. So this not your job. This is something that you guys volunteer your time to do. So thank you for doing that. Okay. I usually kind of save a couple of questions here for the end so that we can relax a bit and kind of get to know you a little bit better. I'm sure you guys are tired of talking about serious stuff. So let's get into the fun stuff. How about that? You
Sounds
guys
good.
Down with it?
Yeah.
All right. So it's a rapid fire type of questions, and you both will take a chance to answer this here so that we can get to know you a little bit better. Tell me about a skill of area of knowledge, something that you're doing right now that is unrelated to your role here at Yavapai College, but you feel like it brings some help and some improvement to what you do here. So like, for example, it could be, I feel like I recently decided to take on piano lessons because I don't know how to play the piano, but I've been in music for quite some time. And how does that help me? Well, it's always good, in my view, to learn a new skill, especially if you feel like a total novice, like you're like a brand new in that area. I feel like it kind of challenges your brain and it makes you better. And it makes me better at what I do here, just to do something that I am not comfortable with. How about you two? What you got going on in your life now that you feel like, okay, I do this because I know it helps me with everything else in my life?
Well, I can say MMA is a big one, combat sports. It's taught me so much discipline, but also strategy and compassion, because what's really great about the gym I go to is it's fighting, it's boxing, kickboxing. So what you have to do is you have to separate your ego. So really separate your ego from the sport and not let that kind of overtake the discipline involved. I take that everywhere I go. It's difficult to really get to me. I don't take things personally. I try to be strategic. And I know that no matter how difficult things get, no matter how low I may be, no matter how down I may feel, it's just one round left, baby. You got to give it your all.
Oh, I love that. That's a good one. How about you, Susanna?
You may have seen me FaceTiming right before this podcast started. That was one of my students that I'm not her direct life group leader, but I have recently taken on becoming a life group leader at my church for middle school girls. And they're 6th graders. They're incredible. And I would say that helps me. I mean, of course, it helps me grow in my faith, and it helps me grow as a leader. And it just helps me to grow, to get closer to God. And that's just, I would say that's the biggest part of me as a person. And just like, I don't know, it just kind of sums up everything that I care about, being close to God, being close to people, being a leader and being a good example, being there for people that, maybe don't have somebody, or I would say that's kind of where I went wrong, was about 6th grade. So kind of being that example that I wish that I would have had, so.
That's a wonderful way to turn it around.
Thank you.
Like you practice what you wish you had done a while ago. Like they say, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now.
Amen.
I like that.
Okay. Next thing, if you had a magic wand to grant every community college student one skill for the future, what would it be and why? Jackson?
Well, you see, I'd probably I'd say juggling. I don't know.
Juggling?
That's the first thing that came to mind. I know it's
I get
goofy
it.
because I just thought, like, if I had a magic wand, I just think it would be funny if every community college, everybody was just juggling. I don't know. That's the skill that first came to mind. I think if everybody
it's
could
deep.
juggle, community college would be a much more entertaining place. And if we could just like prioritize juggling skills a little bit more,
Okay.
you know, maybe put it in the competitive field.
Okay, that's the next thing I'm taking on. Oh, as soon as I'm done with piano, juggling it is. Okay.
No, I get it though. I kind of took it metaphorically. As soon as he said juggling, I was thinking like juggling work, study, school, you know, everything.
Right, yeah.
So I get that. I'm here. I'm right here with you.
How about you, Susanna? What skill would you grant every college student if you could?
I would say patience.
Patience.
You know, I mean, not only is it a skill that I would say I need, but it's something that I would say that not only with student government, but as a student too, you aren't always going to see the results right away. And say if you, for example, you get a bad grade on a test, and okay, so patience with yourself and understanding that, you know, it's not downhill from here. It's not, you're not going to, or you mess up one thing, you're late for something, or you miss something. It's not the end of the world. It's not your end all be all. But yeah, just that patience with yourself that I can do this. Like I can bring it up from here. I can bring my grade up. I can continue being a better person, understanding that your past mistakes like don't define you. And so just patience with yourself.
Lovely. So it's patience with a little sprinkle of empathy in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it. Okay. If you could put a billboard anywhere on campus with anything on it, what would it say and why?
Learn juggling here. No.
Juggling lessons available next semesters. Enroll now.
I would put it right in the middle of the student government meeting board. And I'd say it would say cool stuff here with an arrow pointing downwards. So
Lovely.
no matter where you are, you know, there's student government. There's some cool stuff going on. Come
Cool
say
stuff
hello.
going on.
I would say find yourself here. That's a personal story for me, is that I was in a very dark place, but when I started coming here, I had just lost my mother. I was homeless. I was going through a lot of stuff, you know. I didn't have a lot of support. And just coming here, I found faith. I found a community. I found myself and the direction that I wanted to go through. It kind of teeter-tottered a little bit at the beginning, but I'm solid with who I believe myself is and what I put my faith in, and kind of who I can trust and who I can lean on here. So, I mean, I would say find yourself here.
Find yourself here. And while you're here, learn how to juggle. I love it.
You do. You learn how to juggle very well.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so very much. Anything else you guys want to leave behind here with the audience? Anything will be left out of the conversation that you want to talk now?
Yeah, I would just say don't ever be afraid to reach out.
Yeah, how do we reach out to you? That's an important thing. Let's just kind of put some channels. I know we had trouble with the email, but let's see if we can say it again. What was the email, and how do students reach out to you guys?
YCSGA at yc.edu. So that's our email. And we are always available by email. One of us will get back to you.
Okay.
There, like we said, that jot form is big on the website. So if you just go to our website, you'll be able to see all kinds of ways to get a hold of us, ways to enter our meetings, our social media as well. If you send us a message, there are 2 people that man it at all times. So, yeah.
Are you guys physically in the campus here? Do you have an office somewhere, or that's not?
I mean, that is something that
It's more like virtually.
Yeah, that is something that we're like hopefully in the talks about, maybe creating like a hub. But yeah, I would say there are a lot of us on campus, on the Prescott campus, at all times. Of course, there are the Senate members that represent each campus. But usually on the Prescott campus in Building 3, Room 124, that is where our advisor, our Janice Suti, her office is, and myself and the treasurer, Connor, we work closely with her on a daily basis. So we're pretty much always there, and you could catch one of us at all times there.
That's lovely. Which, by the way, Janice is here in the background. When she first contacted me, I invited her to be on the podcast, and she said, "Nope, that's not me. You got to have these other people in the podcast because they're the ones doing the work." So, Janice, if you want to say like a hello from back there, you may.
Hello.
There's
are
Janice.
awesome, and this is the cool group.
You heard that, folks. We're the cool group.
Needless to say, you guys probably know that by now. I love talking to you guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to come down here and spending some time with me and letting all of us know a little bit more about what your day looks like, what you guys do, and how to reach you, which is super important too. I know this is part of your mission. So I hope this podcast, is one of the channels that you can use to reach out to students. And I'm definitely going to have you guys back to talk about more other things. So just for now, thank you very much for being here.
Of course.
Thank you so much for having us. It was awesome. Thank you.
This is a wonderful resource that you're providing. Thank you for letting us share our voices. Appreciate it.
All right, Jackson and Susanna, good to have you.
Thank you for tuning in to the YCNU podcast. We hope you enjoyed our conversation today. Don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got someone in mind for our next chat? Reach out and let us know. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll see you next week.